Okay, so for years now, we all know that Apple and Samsung have dominated the flagship smartphone segment, but year after year, it felt like they were relying. This year, things are different because for the first time, phones like the Vivo X300 Ultra and now the Oppo Find X9 Ultra are not just staying in China anymore. These proper ultra Chinese flagships are finally going global. I have already made a video on the Vivo X300 Ultra and I was super impressed with its cameras. But today I want to talk about this, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra. And this is not just one of the best camera phones of 2026. I think this could actually be the best phone of 2026. And I am not saying that just for clickbait. Because this phone has the most complete camera setup I have ever used on a smartphone. Couple that with one of the most polished software experiences, a massive 7050 mAh battery, and just look at this gorgeous design. So in this video, I am going to share my full experience with the Oppo Find X9 Ultra, what I liked, what genuinely impressed me, and also a few things that Oppo still needs to improve. And of course, Alright, first let's talk about the cameras. And the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is the only phone right now with 5 cameras on the back. You get the main camera, the ultra-wide, a 200 megapixel 3x zoom camera, a 50 megapixel 10x zoom camera, and the fifth one is a 3.2 megapixel spectral sensor. But the real star here is the 10x camera because you don't really get a proper 10x optical zoom camera on phones anymore. We saw something similar on the Galaxy S23 Ultra a few years ago, but right now, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is basically the only phone bringing back a proper 10x zoom. Picture I took, it has such a nice natural depth, focus and clarity. By the way, this 10x camera can also click portraits. 10x portrait you simply don't get with the usual 3x, 4x or 5x lens that most flagship phones offer these days. And if you don't need that extreme zoom all the time, I can switch to the 3x lens, which is a 200 megapixel sensor with a pretty big sensor size and also has a wider aperture, so it's a capable one. This 3x camera goes all the way up to 6x, 7x or 8x and the details are pretty good. I did notice some issues with exposure and highlight. I can also capture nice looking macro photos with this camera. I would say it's not as impressive as the one you get from Vivo, but look at this. I can digitally zoom in to get closer to the subject and the results are not bad. Another thing that is absolutely amazing on the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is the portraits, especially the way Oppo handles skin tone processing. Of course, it is nowhere near the level of a really good job here. When you zoom into the face, the natural redness, texture and the overall skin tone looks more realistic. Especially when you compare it against the Vivo X300 Ultra, which can sometimes pretty nice portrait shots. Okay, enough about the zoom cameras. What about the main camera here? And here we get the brand new 200 megapixel main camera. It's the Sony LYT901 sensor, the same sensor we saw on the Vivo X300 Ultra. What I really liked about Oppo's main camera is actually likewise because of this big sensor and the wider 1.5 aperture, you can also take some really nice close-up shots with this phone. The natural blur, the depth and the subject separation looks so pleasing. However, there are two things I missed here, especially after moving from the Vivo X300 Ultra. Number one is the 35mm main camera that you get on Vivo. With Oppo, we get the usual 23mm. And number two, Oppo does not have the best ultra-wide camera on a smartphone. It's using the Sony LYT600, which is not the biggest sensor out there, especially if you compare the color consistency between the main, zoom and the ultra-wide cameras. The color shift is more pronounced in low-light shots. And if you look at this big camera module, the ultra-wide camera is placed right at the bottom and because of that, I occasionally got my finger. Likewise, the limitation of this ultra-wide camera is clearly visible in the videography aspect as well. Just like the photos, the ultra-wide videos also don't have the same color consistency as the main camera. Your own color grading style. One thing I hope Oppo improves is lens switching while recording videos. When you switch from, let's say, 1x to 3x or 3x to 10x, there is some jitter and the transition does not feel as smooth as it should.
Okay, now while all the big camera upgrades are at the back, let's not forget that Oppo has also upgraded the selfie camera this time. It's now a 50 megapixel sensor and it's pretty good too.
It is wide enough, the dynamic range is pretty decent, and the selfie videos look nice with a good, slightly better, but overall, I like this selfie camera. Okay, I think I have talked about the cameras for more than 10 minutes now, but the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is not just trying to be the best camera phone. MKBHD called this phone the peak of smartphone, and it's not just because of the cameras, it's because everything else on this phone also feels properly top class. After years of Chinese flagships being great on paper but not always perfect in real life experience, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra finally feels like a truly complete product. First of all, the design. Despite having such a massive camera module and a huge 7050 mAh battery, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra does not feel as unbalanced as something like the Vivo X300 Ultra. Vivo has an even bigger camera module, and because of that, it feels slightly top heavy in the hand, but on the Find X9 Ultra, the weight distribution feels better. Compared to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, Samsung still feels lighter and more balanced overall, but phone with such massive camera hardware, I think Oppo has done an exceptional job here.